We're now ready for the next step. Well, what is the next step? Remember, we have live systems, we have ports, we have services, we've enumerated additional data. Now it's time for ID the vulnerabilities. You can use Nessus, OpenVAS, which is available in the Kali Linux distribution, or one of my favorite ones if we have web servers is Nikto. So what I'll typically do is do a scan just for port 80. And if I find port 80, I'll run Nikto just to get a quick look at it. So let's go ahead and look at this from a perspective. The first perspective will be Nessus. So we'll look at Nessus. So we're going to go into the Nessus tool, and you can go to tenable.com and you can actually download and install Nessus and get a home plugin, which means you can use it at home, not for commercial use. And when I log into it, it comes up with its screen. I just go new scan. Now you'll see some of the scans you got to upgrade to be able to use. In this case, I'm just going to use the basic network scan. It says a full system scan suitable for any host. So I click on basic network scan. Right? I just give it a name. So in this case, we'll call it, we're going to try to save some time on it. So we won't spend too much time. We'll do Metasploitable. Let's do Metasploitable. That's our scan. Then we can put in description if we wanted the scan. And then we put in the IP address. And Metasploitable is 210. Once I've done that, I just click on save. Once I save it, it's in here ready to go. I just click on the play button, and that play button launches it, right? So we're just going to let it go because it'll take a while to do the scan. All right, so while it's doing that scan, we can start looking at Wireshark, and you start seeing lots of stuff happening. This is, for those you don't know, SNMP. So it's SNMP stuff, Simple Network Management Protocol. This is the OID, the Object Identifier. So that's what your SNMP traffic would look like, and SNMP, of course, is port 161. All right, so that's what that would look like when it's trying to enumerate with that. So we'll just leave the Nessus scan running. Remember I told you we had web servers. So let's go back to Nmap here real quick. And we'll do a clear screen. And let's just look for port 80. So -P port 80. And then we give it -SS because we want the fastest way possible because we're just trying to see if port 80 is open. And we got our two targets, 200 and 210. And there we go. We got them open in both places. Now, we've already got Nessus scanning the 210 box. So let's go use another tool to scan the 200 box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Nikto because Nikto is actually a great web scanner. I like it a lot. Now, the best way to learn about anything is man. So if you want to know about Nikto, you just put in man Nikto. And it tells you a bunch about the web scanner. I won't go through that. You can read that at your convenience. So I'm just going to go Nikto. I'm going to give it the target with a -H option. And then give it to 192.168.177.200. And then -output, I want to make an actual report of it. And I'll make the output Udemy Nikto. So I know it was from my Udemy class. And then just .html. And that will create an actual HTML file. So you see now it goes out and it tries all these different requests to look for if there's information in there that can potentially be a vulnerability. You see it's got possibly a system shell found and other types of things. So it's got quite a few different things that it's potentially found. All right. So as it's going through that, remember, we still have our Nessus scanner going to town, so we can go check our Nessus scanner while we're at it. So we come back over here to our Nessus scanner, and we see it's still scanning, and we can watch it live. So if we click over here right now, it's just found 3 medium vulnerabilities, so we'll leave it go for a while. Just go back to our scans, keep it going. Then come back to our Nikto scan, multi-threaded here. Now Nikto's finished, right? And the key is this right here. Tiki-Wiki contains a vulnerability which allows remote attackers to execute arbitrary PHP code. Now, the downside of this is we're reading it in text. But remember, we saved it as an HTML file. So now I just go here, bring up Firefox ESR in this case, and I'm going to look for the vulnerability. So now I just press the Alt key, file, open file, and now I'm looking for my file I created, and we called it Udemy, so it's going to be down here at the bottom, nikto.html, open. Now there's a nice HTML output file for the findings. And as we start going through here, we see the different findings and some information, and this is what you would do as a professional vulnerability assessment or penetration tester or security tester. You'd take all these findings, draft them, write them up, and map the attack surface of your targets. And once you know the attack surface, you prioritize which one you want to attack. And as I said, this one, the one that's interesting here, is this Tiki-Wiki formula, right? So that's the vulnerability. So now we can go back to Nessus, See if that scans. So we got that vulnerability that we need to take to the next step. Nessus is still scanning, and he's got some red now. So Nessus has found some critical things. He's got a VNC server password, so that's pretty easy to log into. He's got a rogue shell backdoor detection, and he's got Debian OpenSSL package random number generator. So great things, good findings. So we go to Wireshark, and Wireshark is just off the charts now because we ran both a Nessus scan and a Nikto scan, all right? Now, the nice thing about the Nessus scan is it was web traffic. So we just click on statistics, HTTP requests. And there it is. We have all the traffic sent by the Nikto scanner, all right, which is kind of nice. So a lot of good information there. All right, so you see how that works. And I won't go through it all because I covered it all earlier in the course as well. So we now know that we have two targets, and both our targets have some vulnerabilities that are critical. The TikiWiki one for this one, and as Nessus just said, the Debian OpenSSH and those types of things. So we go back and we see if our scan's still going, and it is. And once the scan completes, then we'll actually look at the actual vulnerabilities and then look from the next level. But we have enough now to gain access. So as we're doing our attack surface, we're looking for things to gain access. Remember, we had the TikiWiki, and now we have the VNC server password of password. So we could get access either way, and it's showing us here in the output Nessus logged in using a password of password. All right, so now this is what we want to do. We're going to go to the next step. So we'll go ahead and stop this clip here, and the next step will be exploitation, and we'll cover that in the next clip.